So, welcome to the 30-Second Success podcast, where clarity, courage, and connection come to life through the decisions that define us. I'm your host, Laura Templeton, and today we're diving into the bold, messy, and meaningful moments that help us move forward in business and in life. So, let's jump in. I am excited to be here today with Annette Mashi, founder of Right Wizards. It's an amazing connection that we have here. Our good friend Christy Crippen introduced us. I'm so glad that she did. So, Annette, why don't you go ahead and start with your 30-second message? Tell us who you are, who you serve, and the impact that you're here to make.
Sure, Laura. Thank you very much for having me. My name is Annette, and I create magic with words. I give visibility to female architects and interior designers. I highlight their superpowers and tell their stories so they can stay ahead of their competition and attract the clients that they love and win all those dream projects.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And you're speaking my language. That's another thing that you and I have in common. Former interior design project manager. And I
Mhm.
know you're a former architect. So I totally get where you're coming from when you talk about creating that niche, right? But let's talk a little bit about what's something people are often surprised to learn about you.
Something they're surprised to learn about me. Well, I left the US, my home, Philadelphia, and I moved far away to Israel. And I've been living here for 30 years. And I worked at Intel for 17 years, and then I started my own business. So that's
Hmm.
not the normal path that people go from point A to point B to point C. So definitely wasn't what I thought about doing when I was 20 years old. I never thought I'd live in a foreign country. And yet here I am 30 years later.
So let's talk about that, right? Let's talk about that 30-second decision that changed everything for you when it came to the move to Israel and then also stepping away from your career at Intel to starting your own business. So let's kind of dive in a little bit to around the Israel decision and then the Intel
Sure.
decision.
So my husband is Israeli, and I was trying to decide. I decided I would either live near his family or my family. They were the two choices. And I said, okay, well, Israel is the Jewish homeland. I'm Jewish. Let's go. Let's do it. Let's live near your family, and let's give it a try for 5 years. It probably was a 30-second decision because I really didn't dive into it a lot to do all the investigative work. It's totally out of my character not to do all the data analysis and things like that. But I kind of jumped right in and said, okay, let's give it a try and see where we go from there.
Hmm. I love that. And so now 20 years? Is it 20 years?
30.
Like you said,
It's almost 30
30.
years.
Okay, wow. Because you said you were going to give it 5 years. So obviously you feel like it was the right decision for you and your family. So
Um,
tell us what that was like.
so I think life happened. I think like I moved here, I found a job at Intel, I started working. You get on that treadmill and you're working and working and working and raising kids and doing laundry and taking care of the house and all of those good things. And I didn't ever stop to really see what it is I wanted, where I wanted to go. I never really like looked at the big picture. I just year after year after year working at Intel on and on and on and on. Um, and I never really stopped to think what is it that I want? Where do I want to be? What do I want to do? What do I like? Where should I live even? And it just like the train kind of left the station and continued on. And I was on it.
So
On that
then,
train.
so, feeling in that, understanding that, how life happens to you as
Mhm.
opposed to you kind of make it. What was it that inspired you to make that decision, that took you from
Mhm.
Intel into launching your own business?
Yeah. So Intel was great. It was a great company. Like I said, I was there for 17 years. I didn't know anything else. It's a wonderful place to work. You're in a golden cage. You're working. You're getting promoted based on what they think. You're competing against your other employees that are there in your same group, and you can't really set your destination. I guess some people can, but I never see that happening. I didn't see anybody retiring from the company. And I said,
Mm.
okay, Yeah, I didn't, 17 years, and I don't think I went to any retirement parties. So I began to see the writing on the wall that as people get older, they tend to just leave and fade away. And I said, okay, well, now's my chance. And so when I hit the point where it was, should I stay or should I go? There's that like old song, should I stay or should I go now? So I was trying to decide, should I stay or should I go? And I said, if I stay, I'll only be older. So I'm going to go. I'm going to go. And I made the decision, and I bravely jumped into the abyss. and originally, when I left, I said, okay, I'm going to teach. Had had it in my mind that I was going to teach the students in, the kids here. I was going to teach them English, and that was like, I'm going to leave Intel. This is my plan. I'm going to leave Intel, and I'm going to teach kids. That didn't happen. It was, I cried. The kids were tough. They were hard to teach. There's nothing like working with adults. And so I said, okay, now what am I going to do? And that's when I said, okay, well, like, what should I do? And I looked at all the things that I'd done in the past. I looked at what I like to do, and I made the decision that I was going to start writing.
I love that. So, what drew you into actually creating a business where you are now serving architects, interior designers, women specifically in the construction field?
So I studied architecture when I was at Drexel. I have 2 degrees. I started with computer science, and then somebody said, hey, why don't you try architecture? And so I said, okay, I'll try architecture. Sounds like a good idea. So I tried architecture because I was always creative. So I got a degree in architecture. When I left, when I finished my degree in architecture, I was trying to decide, do I pursue architecture as a career or do I stay with computers? And I thought about it, and I had no idea how I was going to market myself. I didn't know. I knew how to design, but I didn't know how to sell my designs. Plus, computers were much more lucrative back in the 80s, and they're probably still as lucrative now compared to architects. But unless you're a great design. Well, anyway, that's not the point. So I decided I would stay with computers and continue going. But now when I look at it, and now I've come kind of full circle, and now I said, I don't want any other woman to feel that way. I don't want them. It's mostly a male dominated field, although interior designers, there's lots of women interior designers. But I said, I don't want anybody to ever feel like they can't sell their ideas and sell their designs and things like that. And so I want to use my skills, my writing abilities to be able to help them tell their stories, talk about the projects they work on, and really talk about themselves and the work that they do, because they do amazing work, and they just might not be able to talk about it so that they can land the next client.
I love that. I love the fact that you've really focusing in on that niche. And I think you and I've had the conversation before regarding, women in that field just really having a difficult time promoting themselves. But I think it comes down to a lot of women, no matter what field they're in, have a difficult time promoting themselves. And I think that's where you and I have found that sweet spot for
Right.
us in helping them to do so. Right. So I think that's a beautiful connection that you have found with your clients, and, giving them not just the ability to find the words within themselves, but also the confidence to speak those words and be proud of the work that they do. And I think that's the key. That's the gift you and I both give to our
Okay.
clients when we help them find that message that really sings and attracts the clients that they're desiring to work with. So thank you for sharing that with us. I think that's just a beautiful journey. And folks, if you don't know Annette, you definitely need to connect with her. She's amazing because her story is just incredible and inspiring. And I love her passion for who she serves. So definitely check Annette out, connect with her on LinkedIn. You definitely want to follow her and see what she's up to. Just a quick reminder, if you're enjoying this episode, please take a moment to like, follow, or subscribe to the podcast. Your support helps us to reach more people with stories and strategies that inspire real connection. So, Annette, talk to us a little bit about what's going on for you from the perspective of challenges, right? What's a challenge you've overcome that most people don't see from the outside?
Wow, lots of challenges. So anytime that first of all, anytime that I feel like I'm going to struggle a little bit, I remind myself of some of the past things that I've done that have brought me into where I am today. Definitely moving from everything I knew from a country, from knowing the language and having friends and having family to someplace where I did not know anyone except for my husband. And it was definitely difficult. So anytime I think something kind of gets in my way, I'm like, I moved to Israel.
Mm.
I can move forward. Things are,
Mm.
or taking the leaping Intel, like I can do this. I can do this. What's challenging me right now? I think one of the challenges I had was deciding who I was going to serve. And I was going back and forth on who are the people that I want to work with? Who are my ideal clients? Who do I want to connect with? Who lights me up? Because writing, you can write for everybody. People that like a copywriter can work with everybody. The idea is finding exactly who you like, who those people are, and then talking to them in a language that they understand, so that they connect with you, so that they want to work with you, so that they see who you are, and they realize the value that you can bring to the table.
Absolutely. I love that.
Yeah.
And so, and again, it comes back to finding your niche. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
times is who you're in alignment with, who you understand
Mm-hmm.
deeply. I have, you and I have talked about another good friend of mine, Regina Garay, who I do
Mm-hmm.
another podcast with, the Create, Connect, Convert podcast. And Regina serves very similar clients to you,
Mm-hmm.
interior designers, people who in the construction trades that do
Mm-hmm.
like faux painting and things like that, because that speaks to her soul. That's the work she did formerly, and now she's able to serve them in a higher purpose, in a higher way, by helping them with their marketing and getting their message out there. But yet her ideal client is very unique and specific, just like yours is, which I think is absolutely
Mm-hmm.
beautiful, because you've taken your passion and now you've connected it with the people that you can serve well. And I think that's one of the things that a lot of people don't understand when it comes to finding your niche, right? I think you and I've had that conversation. One of the things I would love for you to share with my listeners is how you overcame the challenge of not speaking the language when you moved to Israel. You told me about a very specific way that you network in order to feel that connection.
Yeah, it was. So when I worked at Intel, it was not a problem. Well, when I worked at Intel, I was forced to network with the people that were at Intel. So these were the people that I worked with. These were the people that I networked with. When I left, I needed to find a connection. I needed to find like-minded people that I could talk to. And there was a woman who ran an English-speaking network. And so I connected with the people in the English speaking network. And these were all people who had businesses here, solopreneurs that were running businesses here in Israel. And it was much easier to connect because we all spoke English. It was our native language, even though some of them were from Africa, and some of them, South Africa, or some of them were from England, or some of them were from Australia, and the US and Canada, but we all spoke English. And so the connection was made because we all spoke English. It's probably the same reason that I feel comfortable with networking groups that are women business owners, because we're all women, we're all business owners, we're speaking the same language, we're connecting, we're working together, we're sharing ideas and promoting each other forward. So that's looking for people that you have commonality with. It doesn't mean that everybody's identical, because it's really great to have that variety, but respecting each other, having different views, listening to each other, and then promoting each other, I think is really important. And that's what, I know you're in lots of networking programs, the same thing where, right, the virtual networkers, where you're meeting the people that can help you, that support you, that are behind you, that cheer you on when you have those bad days, when you have those challenges, when you're not sure how to take a step forward, that you have other people in your corner. And I think that that's really important.
Yes, you're absolutely right. I love networking. I love meeting new people. And that obviously is how you and I have met,
Right.
because, somebody
Mm-hmm.
that I network with regularly, who's
Right.
become a close friend of mine, introduced us. And I think that there's so much value in getting to know the people in your network. And I think
Mhm.
it's beautiful that you were looking for a way to stay connected with people who not only spoke English so that you have a better understanding, but also supported you in the growth of your business. And I think that is one of those lessons that is very hard to learn, especially, for entrepreneurs who are in a situation where they're not in an environment that's familiar to them. But I think with the access to networking organizations virtually on a global basis, it has
Mhm.
changed a lot for the solopreneur, for the entrepreneur, being able to connect with people. I talk now that my business has no borders anymore. I used just,
Right.
it's really changed. Like I have a global client base now. I've
Mhm.
worked with clients all over the world, and I think when we shift our mindset from, I still love in-person networking, don't get me
Right.
wrong. I am that energetic being that loves that connection. But when I can connect with people from around the world on a virtual platform, it is, to me, that's one of the most amazing things. I've learned so much about other
Mhm.
life lives, experiences, and I, like you, moving to Israel. I have several friends who've actually moved from the States. When COVID happened, they were able to go. One went to
Right.
Portugal, one went to the Dominican Republic. It's like, now I can move wherever and live wherever I want. And it just is amazing to hear about their experiences. So I think that's one of the really cool things of networking on a global platform. So
Yeah,
thank you for
definitely.
sharing that's one of the ways that you grow your business, by networking
Mhm.
and staying connected. And I remember you telling me when you first moved to Israel about your five neighbors on your block that spoke English. It was
Right.
like you and your five neighbors. That was it. That was your world, right?
That was
The
my
five
world.
neighbors that
Yeah.
spoke. Yeah. So I remember you sharing that with me. So what's one thing that you've had to unlearn in order to grow?
Let's see. I think um, unlearning. I think it's that the ideas that I had when I was 20 and 30, and maybe even 40, those ideas are not, don't necessarily carry me into my 40s, 50s, 60s. The things that I thought were truths, like you work at a company until they give you the golden watch and then you leave. I mean, that is no longer true. That's not the way the world is. The idea that I need to, I can only work with the people right around the corner from me is very different in today's society. I think that I can learn from other people everywhere is something. No, I used to hate networking. I used to hate it, but now I see all the benefits of meeting people and connecting people and growing my network and helping other people find people that they then want to work with and they can then connect with and helping their businesses grow. I mean, this is all things that I've learned. I would say in the past, I don't know, 10 years that I didn't expect. It's just a big switch on the opportunities that we have that maybe um, our parents didn't have, and our
Mm.
mothers didn't have. That now we have these opportunities, and then bestowing those opportunities on our children to see, look how far I've come, and this is the things that I can do, and this is how I can step out, and this is how I can be visible, and this is how I can help people, and now you can do the same thing, and you can
Mm.
take it another step further for your kids.
Yes, I love that. I love that. And you have two girls that are
I
getting
have two
married this
girls
year? I love
that got
that.
married. They both got married last year, so it was buy one
Whoop,
get one free
last year.
weddings.
Okay. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay.
Yes.
That's beautiful.
Yes.
I love it. And I think that that's so powerful about passing what we've learned on to our children. You're
Mhm.
absolutely right. I think that's been something really encouraging to my kids. My daughter is a stay-at-home mom who has had her own business at one point in time. Her husband is a business owner, and it's just amazing to be able to share what you've
Mhm.
learned with your kids, and it's so powerful, right? How can we pass on our knowledge to the next generation to make their lives better? And I think that it is, I totally forgot about the whole old adage where you stayed with a company for pretty much all your life and then
Oh my
got the golden
gosh.
watch. I forgot about that. Like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
There has been such a tremendous change in how long people typically stay with a company anymore, and how companies a lot of times I've actually watched how people feel like the longer they were with a company, the less they felt valued, and which is
Right.
not the norm that you and I were raised with. We were raised with, the longer you were with the
Sure.
company, the more your wisdom was appreciated, and you were mentoring the next ones to come in
Right.
because you were valued. And I don't see that as much, in some of the people that I've actually been coaching to, let's find something that you can
Mhm.
transition to when you finally decide that you're done with corporate. So
Sure.
that's a very powerful exploration to do with some of your clients as well. So I love that. So if today's conversation got you thinking about your brand, your message, or how you're showing up in the world, come check out the Brand Success Hub. It's my on-demand resource center packed with tools, trainings, and templates to help you get clear, consistent, and confident in your brand. Yes, Annette has agreed to provide a
Yes.
10-minute teaching topic, which she's going to dive into how to take one piece of content and repurpose it into many small pieces of content. And I can't wait for her to share that with us. So just head on over to 30secondsuccess.com and click on the hub, and we'll see you on the inside. So, Annette, just kind of diving into a little bit more, what advice would you give someone facing a moment of indecision when it comes to business?
Um, Check inside yourself and see what it is you really want to do. Like take some time to explore, to think about the different options, and then just do it. Don't be afraid. Like growth is on the other side of fear. So you don't have to make analysis for a long period of time, but try it. And if it doesn't work, that's okay. Try something else. It's better to have tried than not to try. Better to move forward than to stay stuck where you are.
Hmm. I love that. I love that. And you're absolutely right. It's tapping into your intuition, really kind of tuning into
Mhm.
what's going on. And, I know this, we haven't really dove into this. My words I just
Mhm.
had a word fart, brain fart with words here. But one of the questions I have for you, and I think this is one of the things that I would really love for you to share your experience from the perspective that a lot of people know what's going on in Israel from, the war with Gaza and everything. How has that affected you from a perspective of business and your daily operation? How, that's one of those things, like how do you cope with something so intense at times?
So at the beginning, it was hard to focus. It was definitely hard to focus. I actually had so many clients lined up that a lot of times I would forget about what was on TV, and then I would just write. Like that was my way of kind of escaping. There were definitely good days and bad days. There were definitely days where whatever happened in the world, soldiers dying, things like that would just rock us as a country. Now we're in a situation where we're waiting to see if we're going to be attacked by Iran. Um, 2 days ago, we got the last hostage body back. So of all the people that were kidnapped and all the bodies that they took, the live hostages have come home, and now we finally got the last hostage out of Gaza. So it's a kind of bittersweet that it's over. Our clocks have stopped counting down or counting up the number of hours since the war began. But I look at it as I can't control everything. I can't. That I mean, I can't. I'm not attacking. I'm not pushing the button to send the planes to attack. So I can only do what I can do. I can only stay focused. I can, exercise it to get the stress out. Walk around outside, fresh air. It's not freezing like it is in some other parts of the world. So there's that. The sunshine is and praying, that everything will be okay and that God is above us and watching us and taking care of us, and whatever's meant to be is going to happen. So having faith and believing. And just one day at a time, control the things that I can control, and try to release the other things, and talk about it with other people. And it's really nice that a lot of people have asked, how are you? How are things? How was your day? What's going on? We see the news. We know what's happening. We're with you. We support you. It's also nice to hear because a lot of people don't support us. And so that's tough as well. Like, to be hated for who you are is very difficult also. But we know that's just loud, noisy people. I'm going to say the majority of the population globally understands and sympathizes and, values human life. It's just a lot of other noisy people that have other opinions.
Well, we stand with Israel in this household.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
I am thrilled to have become friends with you and to support you and to explore what life is like for you. And yes, to even pray for you, your family, for all of those who are affected by the devastation on both sides, because I don't think, the bad people are going to do what the bad people are going to do. But, for the most part, there are a lot of good people that are affected by what has happened.
Sure.
And, being in prayer. I did not know that the last hostage body was brought back. We hadn't heard that. So, and I am we're listening to still listening to the news for what's happening over there. But we will definitely keep praying for you. Thank you so much for sharing what, because I know sometimes that's a difficult conversation to have with others. And, but we also need to let people know when it comes to business, how do we cope with things that are going on in the world around us that we have no control over?
Right.
And, I think faith is that's a big answer. I think that is the prayer and really having faith that things will work out, and keep continuing to move forward and being of service to others is so important. So thank you for sharing that with us. So, Annette, what's lighting you up right now in your work, in your life, in your faith? What's really got you excited? Share that with us right now.
What's got me excited? Moving my business forward, I think is really the biggest thing that's exciting me now. Like, doubling down on who my clients are, the why behind what I'm doing, the going out there and finding them and serving them and helping them. That really helps push me forward. Having other people in my community and environment and supporting me, the women that I am networking with, that when I do go to the States, I'm going to look you up, Laura. When I'm coming to the Philadelphia area, I'm going to drive out to visit you. So the things like meeting people in person that you've spoken to over the phone for a very long period of time and develop these relationships, that lights me up as well. And to watch my daughters grow and thrive and see one of them actually has her own business. So it's very exciting to compare notes on how I'm marketing and doing sales and how she's marketing and doing sales. And we have a lot of things in common to be able to push our business forward. So there are some of the things that are lighting me up.
I love that. You get to network with your daughter. That's so awesome.
I do.
I love it. That's
co-working
beautiful.
sessions.
I love it. Co-working sessions. I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. I'm excited for you. I'm so delighted to end on this happy note. So what's the best way for people to connect with you or go deeper into your work?
So I exist on LinkedIn. So definitely Annette Mashi, on LinkedIn is the best place to connect with me. And I am offering an audit for female architects and interior designers to check out their visibility. So I can give you that link that you can pop in. It's Can Your Clients Find You? So I'm going to take a look at their content to help them move their business forward.
So canyouFindYourClients.com, is that the link?
It's that's not the link. It's that's the end of the link. Yeah, it's with the landing page on it's with the landing page on ConvertKit.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You'll definitely have to we'll definitely include that in the show notes.
Yes.
I'm so thrilled that you shared that with us. But before we go, what's one final thought of encouragement you would love to leave our listeners with today?
Just do it. Just do it. Life is too short. Just do it and live without regrets. Take the chance and live without regrets and just do it. And the people around you support you and love you and want to help you. So don't be afraid to
Beautiful.
ask for help. Mhm.
Perfect. Perfect. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing, Annette. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us on the 30-Second Success Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss next week's inspiring conversation. And until then, stand in your brand, trust your voice, and remember, success is just 30 seconds away.